but also like starting 6 and also kind of just signing up for, or, being a part of the event, coming off of Worlds, just being a part of the event. Like, did you realistically, feel like you were going to place where you placed, obviously, which is winning, or was it in your mind, were you like, okay, a great day for me as Battle 6, maybe I might be coming up on some, some other, people in the race, and, whatever other obstacles could come in. Did you honestly feel like, yeah, I'm gonna win this, right? Or I'm gonna be top 3. Like, was that going
I
through your mind?
I honestly had no idea how it was going to go for me. Our training plan that Josie Verdonk-Scott, the high performance director of the U.S. rowing team, writes does not include any intensity this time of year. It's just what we call Zone E or UT2, a little bit of Zone D, so some UT1. The Wednesday workout was, for example, 4x4K at a 22 strokes a minute. And so I didn't have a sense of what split I was capable of holding for 4,700s. And of course, like any race, I had no idea like what split Emma Twigg is holding, what split is Emily Caulfield's holding. And so at least, when we race World Cups and World Championships, you have a sense. People have gone to multiple World Cups, their general speed as a country, you kind of know what you're up against, or you have a heat, a rep, a semifinal, a quarterfinal, so to
Yep.
see the speed you're up against. And of course, with a race like Head of the Charles, you have no idea. I know these women are fantastic. So honestly, I had no idea. And I actually kind of like that because it forces you to let go of any, it's completely out of your control. Like any race, the externals are completely out of your control, but so much more so in a time trial because there's no back and forth bow ball to bow ball. So it really forces you, I believe, to go inward and just control what you can. So no idea what Emma's going to go, no idea what Christy's going to go, or Kara Kohler, but I know 3 technical points that I can do that really make my boat fly. I knew that I had some decent fitness just based on how our steady state workouts had been going. And I knew that I just, the day before in the morning of the race, I was just feeling gutsy. Which is honestly, you wake up in the morning and you're just like, I'm going to go for this. It's a great feeling. And you don't get it too often in life or in racing, even, to be honest. But, so it's hard, you're in the basin and just letting go of those externals. But knowing in my heart, like I was going to swing for the stars to win it. And so the race sets off, my course was a little funky kind of coming through the first rounds of bridges, but I did, as I said, just really trusted that I was able to throttle a 2,000 or 2,500 meters is about what gets you through powerhouse stretch there. Similar to how, like I said, I had those 3 2Ks in my legs from the Tuxedo Regatta. I've put in a lot of miles so far this fall, so hoping that the lactate clearance would kind of carry me through for the second half of that race. And right around coming into Week's turn, I had caught bow number 5, Sophia Vitas, a dear teammate. We actually were staying at Christy Wagner's house together. We'd shared the bed the night before, which is always that fun balance we walk of being best friends and teammates, but also wanting to rip each other's heads off in the race course. So I caught Sophia right into Weeks, had to put in a little extra push there to make sure I had enough margin on her to justify her yielding to me. And that moment happened, like I said, right at the end of 2,500 meters, and passing her gave me this huge boost of like, okay, I've got one, like on to the next one. But the first 4 are up so far in front of me now, I can't quite, you don't know the margin. But I know that I looked over my shoulder and thought, like, they're not getting farther away. And that's a great sensation. And like I said, even after really opening up the throttle for the first 2,500, I still felt really good on the endurance. So coming through past the Weld Boathouse, the first checkpoint, you've got a ton of people screaming and cheering. And I love that about the Charles. It's just, we don't typically get that in our 2K races. There's a grandstand in the last 250, and
Yeah.
you've got about 1750 of either quietude or maybe some coaches on bikes yelling at their crews in other languages. So, the cheers coming through Weld really helped me. And then I think what really helped me in the second half of that race is learning, if you're going to swing for the fences and have some really aggressive pacing in a race, like the kind where you're really towing the line with just an all-out fly and die strategy, which I truly believe is what you need to do if you're going to go for a PR, right? You can't play it safe. There's not room for that. It's so much of this is about learning. It's going to sound a little dark, learning how to suffer. It's not just a matter of rowing as hard as I can and I can flood my body with lactate. I'm doing it. But once you hit that point, the ability to quiet your mind and have at most 2, maybe 3 things of what you need to keep doing technically to keep your boat moving, so that when that fatigue really starts to set in, the legs start to burn, you feel the heart rate starting to climb. I had 2 checkpoints that really dial me in to keep my boat just trimming along as efficiently as possible. So coming through into that last, say, 1,500 meters, 2K of the race, things started to hurt a little bit, kept the mind quiet, and really just doubled down and recommitted to those 2 technical points. That got me about to CBC. There were tons of fans there. I am a Cambridge Boat Club member, so knowing that they were there cheering really carries you through. And as I came through Elliott, someone on the Windsor dock right through the other side of the bridge yelled that I was winning and said, "Go now, you have to sprint now." And I don't know if it's just the rower in me being used to responding to like a coach or a coxswain, but the second someone screamed at me that I had to go now, I just started sprinting. And there's still a couple minutes of racing left at that point, but yeah, it really was, I think, just learning to keep rowing well and keeping the boat moving through fatigue, and then having the guts that even when you're completely maxed out and flooded with lactate, to still lift it up. Brought the stroke rate up to a 39 and just sprinted my heart out to the finish. So it was a really fun one. And, it's, of course, what's hard about head races, you cross the finish line and you don't know. And that's the moment that I absolutely hate about head racing, is just that waiting time for results. But I was lucky enough to have some of our training center teammates on the shore, and I heard them just screaming my name, and I thought, that must mean I did well. And I rode over them, and they screamed that I won. And it honestly, I know it's the head of the Charles, and I know it's a fun fall festival of a race, but it actually hit me so hard. I did cry when they said it, because it just, that's a huge one to win. I have so much respect for those women, for everyone in that race, the entire start list, and to have raced it just so fearlessly and come out on top. Just it really is a result I'm really excited about.